I don't remember the exact words because they weren't the creepy part, and I'm glad he got to say goodbye. The man, who had just dropped while walking down the hall, got out that he didn't want to go and told his family he loved them. The nurse asked him if he was ready, and he said no. The thing being, we had lost the last bit of his pulse shortly after getting him back to his bed after the fall, which was from an aortic wall rupture, if I remember right. He wasn't hooked up to an EKG, but as far as we could tell with the stethoscope, all his goodbyes and not being ready were done without a heartbeat. Next story. ER nurse had a middle-aged female patient being rushed back from the WR in a wheelchair. She was clearly about to code by the look of her, pale, diaphoretic, unresponsive to most of us. We began working her quickly and getting her on the monitors, checking pulses, etc. It's a fast-paced, chaotic process, yelling, giving orders, starting IVs, etc. Suddenly, she sits straight up in bed, begins screaming at the top of her lungs, and what I later find out was an Italian while looking around eyes wide, then falls back onto the bed and codes. We didn't get her back. It was straight exorcist-looking crap. I never found out what she said. Next story. I'm a nurse, but this story is one that a patient told me. I promise it's worth a read. She and her husband had an amazing love story. She was a shy German girl, and he was a U.S. soldier in World War II. He and his buddies were out one night, and they found my patient and her friend walking down the road. The guys tried to pick them up, but they thought the boys were just trouble. So the girls told the boys to meet them at a certain spot in town later that night. The girls not only stood the soldiers up, but they watched them from afar. My patient ended up running into one of the soldiers again later, and he finally convinced her to take a chance with him. When he picked her up, he told her family that he was going to marry her someday. Shortly thereafter, he was sent back to the U.S. They wrote letters back and forth for the next few months. They became engaged via letter. He promised he would bring her back to Germany every year, a promise he kept except for 2001 because of 9/11. It took a little over a year for her to be able to come to the States, where her future in-laws had helped get everything ready for the wedding. They finally got married, bought a farm, and stayed side by side for almost 60 years. She said they were never away from each other for more than 24 hours, ever. They had children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. On their wedding anniversary, her husband woke up to go to the bathroom. He leaned over and said to her, "Happy anniversary, I love you," and gave her a kiss. When she woke back up in the morning, he had passed away. Listening to that sweet woman talk about their love and life together, and to hear about his passing, made me break down in tears in the middle of my shift. Never forget. Next story. Not a doctor or nurse story, but it seemed like a good place to share. I was previously married to a man who traveled quite a bit for work. He came home for Christmas, but was feeling quite ill over the holidays. Nothing seemed to make him feel better. I'm not sure what came over me other than a feeling of impending doom, but I couldn't sleep the night before he had to again for the work trip. I told him I was super worried someone around me, or even myself, was going to die. So I made him stay up to listen to whatever my final